Welcome to another episode of On the Capo Stand. I am your host, David, and alongside, as every week, our good friend John. How you doing, John?
Doing well, David. How are you?
Awesome, awesome. As you can see tonight from my house, these are the days that I treasure when I'm not on a dingy hotel with bad internet. Excuse me. Well, I would like to remind everybody that we are live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter as at on the Capo Stand. On YouTube, we are under David's channel 76. So you're more than welcome to subscribe to the channel. So you can be notified when we have something going on. I've been doing some vlogging, not necessarily about the team, but other things that I'm interested in. So if you care about those things, then watch that. If not, ignore it. Tonight, my Israeli team, the Green Machine, the Kings of the North, the Kings of the Galilee, Maccabi Haifa, have crowned themselves champion of the Israeli Premier 3 years in a row. We're heading back to UEFA's Champions League. We're doing a lot of good things. And this year, as I have mentioned to you guys before, our manager celebrating that he has won 75 of his first 100 games. So Baruch Bachbar has cemented himself as a miracle worker, taking a Maccabi Haifa that had failed to win anything for about 10, 11 years. And now they have their 15th Premiership championship in their hands. Friends, like I have said before, prove that managerial changes can make a difference. So, with that said, and thank you to you guys that always allow me to brag about my overseas teams. I'm a football fan, first of all, a passionate one, and I always have to do that. So, John, let's go real quick. Unfortunately, we're out of the Open Cup. So let's start with that. Obviously, everybody wants to talk about the Nebraskan assassin this past Saturday. But before we go, that we have to talk about this because we were defending champions. The club banged this drum for since we won the championship. The Open Cup organization, every time they posted something, they posted about the champs. Champs no more. What's going on?
Um, Probably about the most lackluster performance from beginning to end that I've ever seen from an Orlando City team. There was, they started off okay, I guess you could say. Um, then the intentions of the players, the aggression, just they just stopped. They had it's like they had better things to do. Kind of been the story, of this season. Overall, is we got players on our team that seem not interested in playing soccer at a professional level for some reason. And
Mm-hmm.
obviously, we like to sit here and say it's the coach or believe it's the coach. I don't know how you can watch the game last Tuesday and say anything. At that game was everybody. I don't care who it was.
Yeah.
Terrible lineup. I actually didn't mind the lineup. Let me correct myself. But terrible schemes, terrible formation. Dagger Dan. I didn't know Dagger Dan was a winger. Apparently he is. I thought he was more of a box to box midfielder. And the guys just laid a big old dud. Our championship defense lasted 90 minutes. If you want to call it a defense, it was more like you know, roll over and die type of
Mm-hmm.
championship defense. I mean, Duncan showed bright spots. Love that he stood up to, or keep it family friendly, the little coward Miram.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I that was all. That was my favorite part of. That was the highlight of the night for me was Duncan and Miriam going at it. But yeah, not much more else to say about it. Just a complete dud by everybody on the team.
No, no, absolutely. I think, to be quite honest, I'm not mad at the result because we sort of hinted that we were heading in that direction last Monday, and not only that, we performed like we have been performing before. We're being consistent, friends. We're being consistently bad. That's the problem. And a lot of people wanted to, find scapegoats. Obviously, Holiday had a whopper of a back pass. But friends, these are drillable situations. The players are gonna play like the manager wants them to play, and if they don't play like the manager wants them to play, they don't play.
Yep.
So I'm gonna give you a quick analogy before John reads the comments that the guys have already posted, and I'm gonna give you a quick analogy. I am working on a machine. Like I have said before, I work on X-ray machines for surgery at the University of Florida Veterinary School. And the problem with the machine is that when they take X-rays and they try to send them to the server, because everything is digital nowadays, it doesn't do that. It doesn't communicate. The system doesn't see that the machine is plugged into to the socket to the port. And I went and at the suggestion of the engineer, I replaced parts, I replaced this, replaced that, blah, 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 whatever. Nothing happened. So after 8 weeks of discussions, they tell me, David, this is what we're going to do. And I'm like, okay, I'm all ears. And for those listening, I'm just making it look like I'm holding a phone. I say, I'm all ears. And they said, well, what we want you to do is go and replace the same board that you have replaced the 3 last times and replace it again. And I said, okay, so I'm going to put my big shoes, my red nose, my makeup, my big wig, jump in my car, drive to Gainesville to do something that I know for a fact is not going to fix anything. And they were like, exactly. This way we can tell sales that there's nothing that we can do. They need to give them another machine because it's a lemon. Friends, do I want to go to Gainesville to do that? No, but that's what my boss wants. You understand what I'm saying? Sometimes in our jobs, John, I guarantee you have stories like this. Sometimes in our jobs, we have to do things that we don't want to do. But again, you know what? I'm not the one signing the paychecks. Oscar Pareja is the boss, and the guys have to play that way. John, if you want to read these comments here and give us your
Yeah,
thoughts of what I just said.
definitely. Jared Quackenbush said, "Hey, gents. Hey, Jared. Thank you for joining us tonight."
Thank you.
Jim D, I can't really comment on the match. Only watched the highlights, but saw everybody melting down on Twitter. It looked bad. Yeah, we'll get to the match Saturday
For
night
sure.
here in a moment. Mariko Suave. If I said that wrong, I
Muy rico
apologize.
suave.
Suave. There you go. Hello, David. Great platform. I enjoy your content. Off the top of your head, who would you take to coach Orlando City?
Yeah, we'll answer that in a second as well.
Yep. Daniel Phillips. I hate that I feel like we can't win. It literally feels like we are holding on for a tie or praying for a lucky win. Yep, Daniel,
Yes,
you're right. It's been
sir.
that way for about a year and a half, a season and a half now.
Absolutely.
Jim D, I like what Lions Den guys had to say, that we look so much better when we are down and the team throws the tactics out the window. Yeah,
Correct.
I'm gonna touch on that.
Go ahead, man.
Touch on that tonight.
Well,
A
to
little bit.
start answering, John, and then the microphone is all yours. To our friend Muy Rico Suave, when this show was in 90 Minutes podcast, we actually had an episode where we talked about 25 managers that were available. That video, that show is still available on the channel. You're more than welcome to go revisit it. Off the top of my head, there's three managers that are available that already manage in MLS. That's Tata Martino, and Patrick Vieira. And it's feasible to bring them actually if they wanted to come back. But and Berhalter, I mean, we can if we want to. It's not my favorite, but he's out there. I think that an attacking manager will do us wonders. Go ahead, John.
Yeah. I mean, I've said Tata Martino since, um, since basically I kind of saw where the season started going. I feel like he would do absolute wonders for this team. For those of you who don't know, He coached, I believe it was right about a season at Barcelona, maybe a little bit more.
Hmm.
With when Messi was there, and I can't think of his name right now. The Brazilian winger. I can't believe I forgot
Oh,
Neymar.
Neymar. Yeah, how could we forget
You know,
that guy?
and had that team flying, and
Hmm.
then basically comes over to Atlanta, has them flying right off the bat from basically their first season.
Correct.
And then kind of had a falling out with Atlanta and was let go. We see what Atlanta's been since then. He goes and coaches the Mexican national team. Obviously, their results, I feel, through no fault of their own, more for the Association of Mexico. Their results were lacking
Yeah, the
while he was
Federation.
there. The Federation, yeah. So he would be my number one guy. He's coached in the MLS. He's familiar with the MLS. Has a coaching pedigree behind him that, I mean, he's been at arguably what top four club, biggest club in the world in Barcelona,
Hmm.
maybe top two, them in Madrid. So he knows how to coach. It's just about paying the man the amount of money, and I feel the Wilfs are the team to do it. Or the owners to do it. They have the money behind them to do it.
No,
Uh,
absolutely.
so and with the attacking players we have, the attacking talent we have, I think he could get the best out of this squad.
No, for sure. And once again, we're going back to the feel good Kool Aid because Francis just doesn't go away. I gotta tell you guys this. I took myself out of Twitter, like well documented, because I don't want to argue with people, blah blah blah, whatever. And I've been primarily getting my fix on Facebook and Instagram. There's a tendency of a lot of people, because they're losing the argument that Oscar Pareja is not the problem, and they're blaming the players, which I think is a fallacy. Ricardo Moreira built a scouting network that we never had. We have scouts in every continent, and one in the college game here in the United States. And to me, that is fantastic. That we know what's out there, we know what's available. One of the things that I learned with the Facundo Torres, Gaston Gonzalez saga, where I not only was seeing it from our perspective here in MLS, but also from the ground in Argentina and Uruguay, because obviously I had connections with both players' camps, talked to both players' dads. The situation there is that sometimes we meet the numbers, sometimes we meet the criteria of the club, but the player just doesn't want to come to MLS, and that's something that we have to accept, that we're not everybody's favorite saint of their devotion. That's unfortunately that's how it is. Happened three times this past off season, so you guys know, where we met every criteria, and they decided to go. We actually were going after a guy in Chile that I thought was going to set this league on fire, and the player decided, I don't want to go there. I want to go to Europe, and that player actually went to the EPL. I can't remember his name right now. Got to the EPL team, got sent on loan, because they think I'm gonna go to Europe and I'm gonna be a starter, but neither here or there. Fact is that there's a lot of negativity among the fan base, people fighting, people that simply they just want to dunk on people instead of winning games. And with this, I finished. So John can give us his thoughts. On my vlog, I put a video saying pro relegation guys are right, or something like that. Where it just dawned on me. I actually saw somebody. I saw these two posts on Facebook. One person said that he doesn't care about winning or losing, because to him the important thing is if the players give effort. And to that, I was offended. I'm sorry. No, these are not your kids at U12 giving their best to get a participation trophy. These are professional players. They have to win. You want to lift trophies, you have to win. This effort. What's I'm sorry. It's like I go to my employer and I said, "Hey, I know that this was very important for us to bring revenue to the company, but the important thing that matters is I gave it my best. It wasn't enough, but I gave it my best. This is ridiculous." And the other one was of a guy that was saying, "Hey, I was a fan from the USL era. I was a season ticket holder. I moved to Charlotte. Orlando City is still my favorite team, but I support Charlotte, and I'm a season ticket holder at Charlotte FC. I'm sorry, clubs are for life. I can move tomorrow to Juneau, Alaska, and I am an Orlando City faithful. Bury me in a purple coffin. There is no way on God's green earth that I'm gonna go and support another MLS club. None. Zero. But this is the United States of America. That's why I had to say that the pro relegation guys are right, because there's no skin in the game. There's no relegation. Then we have people like this that take mediocrity. That's why I invited everybody in the Facebook group to next Wednesday. Bring orange slices, Jello, juice boxes for the players, and if we lose, to tell them it's okay. They did their best. Go ahead and do that. I don't plan to do that. And last, for people that say that they are diehards, but because they moved to another city, all of a sudden they're buying the merch of another club. They're going to another club's games. I mean, if you live in Charlotte, you want to go get live football. By all means, go do that. But don't say, "Oh, I'm a fan of these guys too, and I'm a season ticket holder of this club because I live here now." It's outrageous. Go ahead, John.
Yeah. I mean, effort should be the absolute minimum that we demand of the players at a professional level, any sport, period. And that was one of the things. Excuse me, still getting over my sickness from a couple weeks ago. I got a lingering cough.
Mm-hmm.
But the lack of effort was the one of the things the last several matches, the last month. That's been so disheartening about this team is it's like they get into the second half and they just quit. They roll over and let the other team just take charge of the match. So effort's the very minimum. I was Saturday before the in the second half when it was kind of getting later in the half. I'm like, hey, at least it's a step in the right direction. The players actually looked like they wanted to be on the pitch in the second half and compete. But I I'm a competitor. I'm literally I will sit there and try to if David, you and I were playing a game of Uno, I would be ticked off if I lost. I'm definitely one of those people that hate to lose way more than I like to win.
Mm-hmm.
Period and everything. I mean, me and my brother would be playing basketball out in the front yard, and my mom would have to come out and break us up because we'd almost be in a fist fight. So, to be happy a team gives effort is laughable to me because that's why you play the sport is you enjoy doing it, you have fun doing it. It comes easy to you to give that effort, and for some reason this team just doesn't seem like they can do it. And then as far as I shared it with you the other day, somebody on Twitter, I screenshotted or to save the photo that they uploaded that they replied to somebody's tweet on, and it's the two types of supporters. Since we haven't been able to put a name on the two types of supporters, so I'm going to read it here off my phone because I greatly enjoyed it. So the post said two types of fans. You have club supporters. This type supports the club, but also offers constructive criticism unnecessarily, although sometimes emotionally, within the goal of the club improving year over year. This type is similar to a caring parent who will correct, advise a child when they make mistakes because that child is loved. It's always about the badge winning and never about the current names. So that's, a lot of us, me, David, a lot of you guys watching or listening are like this. And then we have our the Tailgate FC people, the club affirmation specialists. This type applauds the club win or lose. Affirmation specialists spend time reaffirming how awesome the club is doing, whether it is actually accurate or not. Things always tend to be great with the club no matter what. This type seems to only find disapproval with club supporters and make claims saying they aren't real fans. For them, it's also about the badge, but not at the expense of hurting the feelings of those employed by the club or their own. The gentleman that posted, I don't know his real name, um, or the person that posted, I don't even know if it's a guy. Hit that spot on. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I and I said it multiple times. I don't understand, and maybe you guys can help me in the comments understand it a little bit better in your comments. But I don't understand how you can watch this team and say that everything is okay when you have a full game like we had against Charlotte.
Mm-hmm.
You had a half where we were almost ran off the pitch against Columbus, and then we came back and eventually, luckily, tied the match. But you watch three halves of soccer that were abysmal on both ends of the ball. At least last year we had our defenses playing well to hang the hat on. Our
Correct.
defense this year is making such simple mistakes that it's laughable. It's terrible and laughable at the same time. So for people to be able to sit here and say that this team, there's nothing wrong with this team, I will never understand it. Like I said, maybe somebody else can help me understand it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you think everything's fine, please, I've got the receipts to back up that things aren't fine. We're 19th right now in points per match in the MLS. That we're out of the playoffs. Um, if we continue our goals per game like it is, we'll be close to the bottom. We won't quite be at the bottom of the table, but we'll be very close to the bottom of the table. And, as much as expected goals are kind of an anomaly for people, according to expected goals, we should have lost that game 3-1. That's just, Gillespie had a save. They had a couple shots, hit the post. We got very lucky. And then, the ball just happens to drop to Duncan. We had a bit of brilliance with our
Mm-hmm.
designated players, and then the ball just happens to bounce to Duncan.
The
William
ounce
Aguilar.
of luck that we always talk about.
Yep. William Aguilar. Tata Martino is no more than a mercenary. I would not trust him with my finances, let alone my business. Well,
No, that's true. He
yeah,
doesn't stay more than 2 years. But I personally, well, he's not my favorite candidate. If he can come here, leave us a trophy, and then walk out the door with our thanks, then so be it. Um, I want to address something real quick. I watched the game at my hotel room last week in Springfield, Massachusetts, where I'm heading back tomorrow. So, wish me semi good vibes. Um, I was really disappointed. I did like a 10-minute reaction video that I posted on our channel where I spoke about the things that you pretty much have heard myself. And I'm sorry, the more people asking for the link, and I'll send it here in a minute. I was really disappointed. Somebody, I'm not gonna say names. I'm not gonna say names. Our good friend John advised me not to, and once again, friends are there to save ourselves save us from ourselves, and I appreciate that from John. He knows it. I already told him that. There was a podcaster that went live last Tuesday and did the StreamYard just like we're doing, went on Twitter and started reading tweets and commenting on them. While I feel that that person is entitled to do whatever that person wants to do in that show, I think that ridiculing people and attacking people on their opinions is something that's unethical and something that we don't do here. Obviously, that person has a lot to say about my person, a lot to say about our show, a lot to say about our issues in the past that are very well known to all of you. But to go and attack people like my good friend Daniel from Lions Blog, a Leeds fan, English born, somebody that can come here on this show and educate everyone here about what football culture is. A person that has followed a club whose grounds and history are 3 or 4 times older than ours here in Orlando, well, it's disrespectful, especially when his comment was spot on about the attitude of complacency that we're having here. And then last, to attack my friend Eddie Cruz from Orlando Lions, then a guy that everybody that has met him, super nice, good father, good husband, a leader in his church, in his community, and somebody that graciously went on that show at my invitation. He didn't have to, but he went and supported us at that point. And for you to to say he's childish, this is all I'm gonna say to everybody that is watching. Remember, here in this podcast, we don't have strings attached to the supporter groups or to the club. So we're free to say whatever we want to do or want to say, and obviously we're gonna do it in a responsible manner. But at the same time, always be mindful of people who put their free ticket and their seat at the press box that is getting emptier and emptier every year because less and less outlets are covering live sports, especially the MLS. The newspaper is gone, radio doesn't care about us, TV. You're lucky if you get 10 seconds in the newscast in the morning or afternoon. And again, you got to be mindful of that. There's people pushing an agenda, and that it goes against your interest. And if somebody's gonna be ridiculing my thoughts because they are contrary to what he's being told needs to happen, then because you're thirsty that the manager finally comes to your show, and you think that if by doing this and emailing his daughter is gonna happen, then I'm just gonna leave it at that. So I think there's a lot of great podcasters, a lot of good people that put their opinions out there. I disagree with some, and I agree with others. But at the end of the day, I feel that the fan base of Orlando City wants the club to win. Um, Even if I disagree with somebody, even the people that have attacked my faith, my ethnicity, my person, people that call me names, people that have done very destructive things to me. You're an Orlando City fan. Well, you're one of us. I don't push it to the side. I will have to bathe myself with a lot of love, a lot of from God Himself. But I think we need to start respecting each other in that matter. So, John, any last words on this topic before we go to what happened Saturday?
The only thing I have to say is, I really, I appreciate, I really do, all of our listeners, all the people that have supported us, even through the little bit of controversy a month ago. We really appreciate you guys. We honestly wouldn't be here without you guys, and how you guys constantly comment and are wanting to join us on the show. Is very humbling. I never thought, I'd be in a position hosting a show with the legendary David Valentine, and people would actually watch me, mumble on about soccer for an hour or so. So we really appreciate you guys. We really, really do. We really appreciate that you guys have our back through everything, through our opinions, through our authenticity of the show, and all of that. So thank you guys.
No, absolutely. And one more comment.
Yep. Jim D. I think it's a coping mechanism. It makes going to games fun. Seeing the team as they actually are makes it miserable at times. I'll plead the fifth on that one because I'll get in trouble if I say what I want to say. Basically, they're lying to themselves, and that can't be much of a fun life if you're
John.
lying.
You're only here. You're only here so you won't get fined.
Yeah.
Just say that. Just saying. All right. While I send this link out, let's go ahead. Columbus away.
Yeah.
A tale of two halves for sure. What are your thoughts?
Tail of two halves, kind of same old, flip flop it whichever way you want. One half looks good, one half looks terrible, one half looks terrible, one half looks good. We look good for 20 minutes in the first half, then have a stretch of a half hour. We look absolutely dreadful, and then clean it up, late in the second half. I the first half was dreadful. It was, I don't know if it was a hangover from the performance at the Charlotte match. They just look dreadful. We
Mhm.
have to stop with that back three. It isn't working. Um, you know, Perea, as far as I know, has never played with back three. And in his, predominantly in his coaching career, he loves the 4-3-3
Mhm.
um, with holding midfielder. So they just got to stop doing. They look terrible. Janssen's not the same. Carlos isn't the same. Schlegel and Janssen are too similar players in their style to play in a three back system. Communication's not there. Positioning's not there. We just look terrible. Too many weak side goals with two of our guys covering one of their guys, leaving a man or two wide open on the backside. That's been the story of the defense this year. We come out the second half within 5-6 minutes. Cara and Torres play a nice, play a good couple balls between them. Torres with a world class pass, and Cara does what good strikers do, and finishes. I thought Cara actually, was one of the bright spots in the first half. Showed why he's a designated player in the first half,
Mhm.
putting that goal away. Got a little bit greedy later in the second half. Could have put it across frame to Ojeda for a walk in, but I want my striker to be selfish. I like a selfish striker that's gonna I'm scoring goals today. And Carr definitely came out with that intention all throughout the match. Torres played one of the best. I feel like Torres the last a positive over the last several matches is I really feel like he's kind of stepped up and taken more of a leadership role with Pereira out. You see him directing guys on the field and everything a lot. Um, and it's I like to see it. You want your better
Mhm.
players to your best players to be the leaders of the team, and I really feel like Torres is vocally brought that up as well as with his effort and play after kind of sluggish several games
No.
there a month ago. And then Duncan, man on the spot, right time. Dude just knows
Mhm.
how to do it. Be in the right spot. You actually see him. I love the replay. The replay from the opposite goal is perfect. You actually see him reading where the ball could land as it's coming in.
Yeah.
And I don't know, you couldn't tell if there was communication between him and whoever. I don't remember who headed it at this point for Orlando. But ends up to him, takes a lucky deflection right in the goal. Nothing the keeper could do with it.
Boom. That's football for you.
Yeah, and we walk away with a pretty, in my opinion, a pretty decent away draw,
Mhm.
with something to build on. We've said that in the past. We said that against LA. Hey, we scored 2 goals. We look more fluid. Let's build on it. And then 2 matches in a row, 2.5 matches in
For
a row,
sure.
we absolutely suck. So
All
what
right.
do you think about it, David?
Well, before I give you that, let's bring our friend William Aguilar. Will, I'm gonna go ahead and put you on here in a second.
Hello there.
Will, welcome to the
Hey,
show. You're on the Capital Stand, my
thanks.
friend.
Well,
Uh, You hear me fine? I want to make
oh
sure.
yeah.
Yep.
Okay, great. Um, okay, you have any leading questions to begin with?
Well, what are your thoughts? We're out of the Open Cup. We had to pull everything that we had to escape with a point at Columbus, and we're facing New York City at home this Wednesday. What the everybody's talking about Pareja's inefficiency. Some people are blaming the players. Where you at with all these controversies?
I still think it's Pareja's fault. Actually, I wanted to start with this. So, there's only 2 games in this whole season that I wanted Orlando
Mhm.
to lose. It sounds it sounds like something that no one would say, but there were 2 games that I wanted Orlando to lose. The first one was the LA Galaxy, just because I wanted to see Chicharito being happy after the game, but that didn't happen.
Yeah.
And the second game that I wanted Orlando to lose was the one on Saturday, so that we have a good morning. Like seeing that sacked from the team.
Mhm.
But that didn't happen. So I guess it's just my luck. Whenever I want Orlando to lose, they win, or like they save it, and then when I want them to win, they lose. So I think I should just not keep my wishes in the open. Um, but yeah, but going back to the question, yeah, I do think it's Pareja's doing. Like for the Open Cup, you could really tell that he didn't have any idea how to play the game. Like it was just from all the games I watched from Orlando, I think that's the worst I've seen in ever.
Yeah, it was bad. Yeah.
Ever. It was really bad. Like I thought I was watching Orlando CDB. Like that kind of performance that you would expect from a lower team compared to the main team. I'm not saying that Orlando City is bad for any instance, but um, that's just like that's the reflection I had of the game.
And
Um,
it's not a bad one, my friend. It's the champions. We had a bye to that round. We didn't have to play a game like Charlotte had to play that. They had to play a game to get to that stage. We were coming fresh, so I don't blame you at all on that assessment because the expectation is they're the champs. They're gonna give us a fight, and in the end, it was a rollover.
Correctly, yes, and as for last Saturday's game, um, that was also a really bad match. Not as bad as the Open Cup, I would say.
Hmm.
We did have at least some defense. I thought Antonio Carlos was doing good. I always think that whenever he's there, even though we're still a bad team, we do better with him than without him. Like
Oh yeah,
that's
for
that's
sure.
that's our potential in defense. That tells a lot about the team. Um, I'm not a fan of Schlegel starting. I've
Okay.
never been. I mean, I like the guy, but it's just it's like when he's maxed out, he's still not good enough. In my opinion, not going against him in any personal way, but it's just the way I see him. Um, what else I was gonna say? I think. Oh yeah, another point I was gonna make. I feel like every time Pareja's seat is really hot for him to leave, I feel like Facundo Torres step ups his game. So I don't know if there's a correlation with. I don't
No,
know if there's
no, for
like a
sure.
connection between them two, but every time he saves them, he
Yeah,
saves
I
them.
mean, not for nothing. Obviously have a relationship. You don't want your boss to lose his job. I don't think anybody does. It's in Facundo's best interest that we do good because he always came here with the attitude that I'm only here for a short period of time. My goal is to get to Europe. He has seen former teammates go to Europe, like Benjamin Shaw, which we wish him a speedy recovery. He torn his Achilles heel. It's gonna be a long road for the young man. We wish him well. Same for Daryl DK. I don't know Achilles heels. I guess is what's going around these days. And so yeah. So I mean, and obviously with Moutinho, Joao Moutinho. So I mean, he has seen friends leave the club, go to Europe, so he wants the same thing for himself. So absolutely.
Yeah.
So Will, one more thing. We made the argument. Hey, we lose Open Cup. We perform poorly in Columbus. What's the status of Oscar Pareja? I feel that Oscar Pareja has 9 lives at this point because every time we're predicting his demise, the
Yeah.
man gets saved at the 11th hour. Probably one of the luckiest managers out there. What's your expectation for this Wednesday? It's a midday game. Not a lot of people are gonna get to go. I can't go because I'm gonna be out of the state for work, and that's a story of a lot of people. So it's gonna be school's still out, so it's a school night for many people. Blah blah blah. So attendance is probably not gonna be great. I think for New York to come to Orlando, this is probably the best scenario possible. So what do you think is gonna happen this Wednesday?
Um, in the best scenario, a 1-1 draw to
Okay,
me. Yeah,
good.
and the worst case, probably 2-0. New York winning. Um, and well, if you allow me to go back just to your previous comment, I think I differ a bit from you from your opinion. Because I it's not that I want my boss to be fired, but I feel like if I could make more money with a different manager, then definitely that guy has to go.
Uh-huh.
Like and in Facundo's perspective, I mean my perspective of Facundo, I guess, I would prefer to do well with a good manager and be on the spot for different teams. Because the only team that really showed interest in him was probably Arsenal. I didn't hear of any other teams. But what if he had a better season? What if he won the MLS Cup? What other teams will look at him? So
Yes, for sure.
for me, I wouldn't personally wish my boss to be fired, but if I can do better with a different one, I would just part ways with that previous manager that's not helping me grow in the company or in the business.
There you
So
go.
that's why I differ a bit from you. It's in that regard.
So, Will,
Um,
if I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I thought you were done. Go ahead.
no, no, no. I'm done. I'm done.
Okay. If let's say it comes to fruition, Pereira gets let go before the end of the season. Obviously, you're not a Tata Martino fan. Who would your pick for replacement be?
Uh, well, one of my options that just got picked and it was put away is Marcelo Bielsa, the Uruguayan coach now. That was my first choice. I don't. I mean, it's probably expensive, for what I've heard before,
Mm.
especially when it comes, to MLS clubs. I don't think he will be willing. Um, and to be honest, I can't think of anybody that will fit Orlando. Like with the players that we have now, I just can't think of the top of my head someone, other than
Yeah,
him, Marcelo Bielsa. I think he does a great job with any kind of team. He's just that talented to me.
definitely.
But
Okay,
yeah,
fantastic. All right, well, thank you again for joining the
Thank you.
show and giving us your insight on what you think it's happening. We always appreciate you being on, and as you know, you can come as many times as you want, my friend. Hopefully,
thank you.
hopefully, we'll get a result this Wednesday, and we can celebrate next Monday, two victories in a row. That's what I'm hoping for. So, with that said, thank you very much, my friend. Okay,
Thank you for having me again.
all right,
Bye
my
bye.
brother. Take
All
care.
right.
All right. Well, thank you, Will. We got a comment here, John.
Yeah, Colin OCSC. Part of the disparity versus Columbus was that they had a bye week and we were short on rest. Really lucky point. Um, no, I would I would have a tendency to agree with you because typically tiredness shows later in the game, and we looked pretty good late in the game. So, did I just disconnect?
No, no, you're still there.
David,
I
my
can.
computer just went out. My screen just went out.
Okay, I
You
can.
can
I
pick
can
it up,
still.
take it
You
from
still.
here if
I
you
can
can hear
still
me.
hear you. I can still see you. Can you hear me and see me? Okay, friends. It looks like John is having an issue with his screen, but we can see him and hear him. So while he solves that, I just want to let you know that for the folks that are on audio, that's what's happening. So John, if you can hear me, that's fantastic. If you can't, obviously it doesn't matter. So hopefully he'll be able to fix that. Well, I have to tell you this that while John solves the situation, what I expect to see this Wednesday. Unfortunately, like I said, I'm gonna be out of the state, and but my tickets are going to a good home. My friend, hey John, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear
Okay,
me still?
fantastic.
I
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
know what happened. My screen just shut off and
You
I
were
couldn't hear
perfect.
anything.
I know you couldn't see anything, but the audio, everything else was perfect.
Okay.
So my tickets are going to a good home. My friend Kevin Reese from Stevenage is going to be in town with his wife. So I'm giving him the tickets. Kevin has been fantastic towards yours truly. First of all, introducing me to the mighty Stevenage, and Kevin and his wife are members of Orlando City, UK, and I'm glad that I can do something nice for them. Um, But for those of you that are going to support the boys, listen, we have to support our club. I have said this online many, many times. My loyalty to the club is to the club. It's not to anybody in particular. You know, the Orlando City the institution. That's where our loyalty needs to be. You can be supportive of players. You can be supportive of managers, but at the end of the day, you know, people come and go, staffers come and go, and that's one of the things that we have to understand. Listen, I this week, my club Stevenage, and again, I know you guys are sick and tired of me bringing up the mighty Stevenage, the Kings of England, and Maccabi Haifa, the Kings of Israel. 'Cause my clubs are my clubs, and if this podcast was for Stevenage or Maccabi Haifa, which I have been to podcasts dedicated to those clubs, and I talk ad nauseum about Orlando City, so it's not exclusive. Um, this week they're gonna start working on exit interviews for players, and some tough decisions have to be made. And one of the consensus is that one of the players that is a native of Stevenage probably is going to have to be let go. One of the strikers that unfortunately did not work out. So so yeah, so that's the situation, my friends. I mean, football is football. It's a business, and players go into it understanding that. And I think we need to do a little bit of maturing ourselves to understand that, you know, sometimes our favorite players can move on. That's is that simple. So with that said, we have our friend Vixen McCassie here back. Vixen, I'm gonna go ahead and page you in.
Hey,
Welcome back, my friend. You're on the Capo stand.
thank
How
you,
are
thank
you?
you, thank you for having me. I'm doing great. How are you?
Fantastic, my
Thank you
friend.
for joining us.
Fantastic.
All right, all right.
All right. So, the same question that we asked Will. We are out of the Open Cup. We are. We had a miracle comeback in Columbus, which I wanna talk about that as well. And then obviously New York City at home this weekend. We made the argument last week. We asked you if we lost Open Cup and we lost in Columbus, what would have happened? Obviously, Pareja is the Teflon Don because nothing sticks to him at this point. He's still here. So what's your assessment? What about all the situation? You know, Open Cup, Columbus, and now New York City.
Gotcha. So, there's one point that nobody's mentioned at all. So MLS made headlines when Chicago Fire and New York Red Bulls sacked their coaches.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then ever since they sacked their coaches, Chicago Fire won the U.S. Open Cup, and then um won their MLS match. Okay, Chicago Fire went against St. Louis twice, and they beat them twice. Right, once in the U.S. Open Cup, and then they went up against them again in the MLS regular season, and they won both of them. And then the New York Red Bulls, they have won also two matches. They won their U.S. Open Cup game
Mm-hmm.
against DC United, and then they beat their rivals, New York City FC, at home. And that's
Oh, I saw that.
and and this happens like the next game after they sack their head coaches. What does that tell you for Orlando City? Like they get two wins, and for New York Red Bulls, they get a victory against their rival team. You know, and it aggravates me because that could have been us easily.
Yeah.
That could have been easily been us if Oscar Pareja got fired around the same time that the New York Red Bulls head coach and the Chicago Fire head coach got
No, no,
fired.
for sure. And one of the things, Vixen, I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No, I was
Is
done. I was done.
no, good deal, brother. It's I'm multitasking. I'm sorry. One of the things is that those clubs that you are talking about have caretaker managers. Is the people they are not going to be permanent. So you can imagine the jump that Chicago Fire specifically had. They have won their last two games with caretaker manager, somebody that already the club already has said it's not going to be here permanently. So listen, if you want to go crazy, just pick up the phone, call Rob Valentino, say, hey, I know you hate Atlanta. Come down, come home. I mean, and some people may be like, hey, David, that's outrageous. We already tried that with James O'Connor and it failed. Well, when Rob had Atlanta, he did very well. I gotta say that he almost embarrassed us at home. It took Nani and Sylvester Van der Water, I should say,
Yeah.
that have moments of brilliance in order for us to pull that game. That's the game that what's his face? Martinez had a goal in 56 seconds.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, so yeah. So no, I hear you, man. It's one of those situations where, you know, every time we mention, hey, we need a new manager, people are like, well, who's gonna come? Or nobody wants to come to Orlando. I mean, you have never met people that hate their city so much until you talk to these people. They're like, nobody wants to come to Orlando.
Yeah.
I mean, we have to believe in ourselves, don't you think?
Yeah, yeah, and like for the caretaker manager for New York Red Bulls, like the goal they beat DC United by 1 goal, and also by New York City FC by 1 goal, and
Hmm.
the player who scored both of those goals was a homegrown Bronx native player. So that shows you something that the caretaker manager sees that the head manager does not see. Like
Yeah, for sure.
it was a homegrown player, somebody who barely even got started, always coming off the bench. And the time that the caretaker manager starts these individuals, they make it.
Mhm.
Yep.
No, absolutely, absolutely. So this Wednesday, New York City comes home,
Mhm.
comes to their second home, I guess, because it comes to the slaughterhouse, to the kill floor, I
Yeah.
call it,
Mm.
because New York City has been embarrassed and humiliated at Exploria several times. I know they would love to take that back, that 2020 game against us in the playoffs.
Yes, yes.
So what are you expecting? Are you gonna go to the game, or what are you expecting from the boys against? What can be said? A rival that has surpassed us because obviously they won the MLS Cup before we did.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. I'm not going to the game sadly. I live in Tallahassee at the moment.
Oh man, that's a long drive. Yeah.
Yeah. So but New York City FC, they're going through a tough time at the moment. They're like a point above us in the table, but they've been on a 3-game losing streak, and I feel like that may continue at the Exploria Stadium.
Oh wow, that's bold statement, people. Bold statement.
Yeah.
Uh, no. I listen. I'm glad that you're saying that because I think we have been very negative for a while. And I think it's time for us to believe in ourselves. I don't want a manager change if we have to lose.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like I want my club to win. Like
Yep.
I just don't. I think it's counterproductive because if somebody's gonna take over, you want that person to be in a better position. So
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I want the team to win, but I still kind of want them to lose as well because so they could teach my lessons, like
nah, I hear you.
to sack the guy. I mean,
Yeah.
Um, I was looking up like some head coaches available, and Thierry Henry is available.
There we go.
He's
Yeah.
not with Belgium at the moment, so he wasn't really good with Montreal. Well, to be fair, like when he got there, he had just hit.
Yeah,
So
yeah. And he inherited a really bad team and he had issues, family issues.
yeah,
So that weighs in for somebody like myself that I travel for work and I'm away from home
there you
and
go.
crap happens. I understand it. Listen, it you never feel as powerless as when you are 4 hours away on a plane ride and your spouse calls you, oh, the toilet doesn't work, or one of the kids is sick. I mean, like, you know what I'm saying? That definitely affects you. So I understand. I definitely understand that part. So
Uh,
go ahead. Go ahead, sir. I'm sorry.
yeah, I don't want to I don't. I'm just saying that he's available, but I don't know if I would want him as a coach. I do
Mhm.
think he'd be better than Pareja, but I feel like that we could choose better
Yes.
from other coaches available. I'm not. I mean, it's a tough one to pick on which coach would be available. Like because you guys mentioned earlier, Tata Martino, and today I was watching the podcast. So Tata Martino, who else was?
Oh, oh yeah, that we mentioned earlier. Tato Martino, Marsh, and
Patrick Vieira.
Patrick Vieira. Yeah,
Yeah,
he did fantastic in New York. He took over after Jason Kreis and made them winners overnight.
yeah, Patrick Vieira would be the better coach in my opinion over Thierry Henry. He was doing good at Crystal Palace.
Uh-huh.
Well, decent, and like he didn't do terrible, and he still got sacked. And I was like, I don't know, man.
Because football is cruel and unpredictable, my friend. That's it.
But what were
So,
you gonna say?
was that?
What were you gonna say?
No, I said football is cruel and unpredictable. That's how it is. So, any parting words? Any parting words, my friend? So, before we moved on.
No, vamos Orlando. I love the club.
Thank you, brother.
The Ivan Angulo reminds me a little bit of a throwback guy that we used to have back in 2015, 2016. His name is Carlos Rivas.
Really?
Yeah, he kind of reminds me of that individual a little bit. He has the same type of aspect and motivation. I mean,
Okay.
like the moments when you least expect it, for Carlos Rivas to appear and to appear and do well for the team.
Uh-huh.
He actually does well for the team, and I don't know, I just get a little bit Ivan Angulo and Carlos Rivas similarity.
Well, I gotta tell you, he to me, he reminds me a little bit of younger Dennis Chen, for those old school boys like myself, or a Kevin Molino. As far as the listen, Carlos Rivas, sad story. Um, After he left us, he went to Red Bulls. He put having a good time before training and all that, and he went to Colombia to Nacional. They let him go. He didn't score any goals. Then he went to Hapoel Hadera in Israel, and he blew his knee right before after three games. Talking about bad luck before the 2020 pandemic. And last I heard, he was playing second division in Colombia, not doing very good, and he's at the end of his career.
I thought he played for juniors in Barranquilla.
No, you're talking about Cristian Higuita.
Oh, that's right.
Cristian Higuita.
Well, I'm talking like Angulo, like in his playing style a bit.
I like Angulo, so
yeah,
he has a stamina. Never say never, and I like that attitude. So, all right, my friend. So we're moving on. So to give an opportunity to somebody else, and thank you for once again joining us next Monday. You know, my friend, this is your show. Just let us know, okay?
Thank you, my friend. Take it
all
easy.
All right, guys. Take it
Have
easy.
a good one. Thank you.
Fantastic. All right, so we have a comment here, John.
Jared Quackenbush had the opportunity to go to the Columbus game this weekend with my son. Wow, what an incredible stadium and experience. It was a rough game to watch, but nice silencing the stadium at the end. Absolutely.
Yes, I agree indeed, and I got word that my good friend Kevin Reese, who happens to find himself in Florida, is watching us. So there you go, Kevin. Look, Orlando City and Stevenage. Okay, for the haters. So I have to tell you guys this. Let's talk a little bit about a player that, in my opinion, deserves to be talked about, and that is the Nebraskan assassin. You heard me right, the Nebraskan assassin, Duncan Mcguire. I had to tell you, I'm, if there's people that use vulgarity to call people like me that are high on a player, they call them something riders or whatever. If that makes me one, I am gonna buy the T-shirt, put it on, because This kid, that cost us nothing. I didn't know who this guy was. Okay, a lot of people make fun of his haircut, make fun of. Listen, this is a corn-fed kid from Nebraska. I don't know about you, but there's a reason why they call that part of the country flyover country. There's nothing going on. I lived in Oklahoma. I've been to Arkansas, Utah. Friends, there's absolutely nothing going on in that part of the country. Nothing. And Nebraska is not a hotbed for football, even though some great players have come out of there. Jason Christ, one of them, Omaha, Nebraska native. Their claim to fame in American football is they have a League One team in the Union Omaha that had a decent run last year in the Open Cup. Other than that, there's nothing going on. There's nothing going on. You guys want to make fun of these guys. This country kid. Okay, it wouldn't surprise me that on day one of the preseason, the guy showed up in a beat up truck. With a tractor supply hat cap, and from what I hear, listen, this is when this guy grabbed me, folded me, and put me in his back pocket. Some people have said, "Hey, I went to Orlando. Everybody speaks Spanish. I couldn't deal with that," and they left. Right? I'm not gonna mention any names, but Duncan Mcguire is taking classes to learn Spanish alongside with DDT with Dagger Den, which, by the way, another guy that once again folded me and put me in the back pocket. That shows commitment to me. That shows commitment. Like the guy's putting the effort. I just hope that John. I just hope that he doesn't go like with Adrian Vinter. Where by the time he went back to Switzerland, he was listening to reggaeton. He was speaking Spanish. Listen, I at this point, since we're training in Buenaventura Lakes in Kissimmee, it wouldn't surprise me over the end of the season to see Duncan Mcguire pull into the parking lot over there at 1000 Billbeck Boulevard in a 1990 Celica, bumping reggaeton, okay, and speaking some Spanish at this point. And I have made peace with that, John. I have made peace with that. So the fact of the matter is, friends, is that the kid gives us effort. And I'm gonna give you the microphone here in a second, John. The guy gives us effort, and it's not the first time, John, that the guy puts himself in dangerous areas and gets goals. With this, I leave you before John takes over. Anybody, without Googling, do you know who's the top goal scorer in Orlando City right now? John, tell these folks.
It's Duncan.
There you
go. Active players, it's Duncan. Yeah, he has a knack for being in the right place at the right time. To go back several years, maybe we didn't appreciate that enough with Kyle Laren because it always looked like
amen.
Most of his goals were just kind of walk-ins that other players created. But, sometimes as a striker, that's how it goes because your positioning is so good. Your reading of the play ahead of time is so good that you put yourself in a position where the ball just ends up because, through you watching the play and your experience and your natural positioning, you're standing there. And that, Saturday was his fourth goal on the year, I believe.
Yes, sir.
And two of his goals, right place, right time, workhorse, absolute workhorse. There was run a play Saturday night where all of a sudden this player goes streaking from midfield down to our defensive goal line, and it's Duncan Mcguire chasing the winger down to stop a counterattack.
But right before he filtered that ball to Holiday, yeah. I mean, you watch that sequence, bro. Incredible. If Holiday would have scored, I mean, that's an assist there, but it doesn't happen without Duncan.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, his motor, you can't. That's the heart that the kid has. You can't teach that. That's something that was bred in him. The work ethic that he has, at least during the games, and I would assume during training, he has the same work ethic,
Hmm.
because you look at him, with the jersey on or just in street clothes, he doesn't really look like a soccer player. You
No,
know,
no,
he
sir.
doesn't look like he
Good
just looks like
kid.
another 6'2", kid that just graduated from college with a terrible haircut. And then you watch him play, and he does the little things very, very well.
No, for
That
sure.
put him in the positions that he can be in. And I'm excited. I mean, we have a good problem to have with him playing the way he's played the entire season, Mcguire, and then Kara, coming back in the form a little bit. That's
Oh
what.
yeah, we can move forward with that saying. Cara had a
Yeah,
fantastic goal, by the way.
yeah. So we have a problem. We have a reverse problem of what we had last year of who's going to play the number 9, because we have two players that are doing it very well
Hmm.
at this time. And I like to see it. I love watching Duncan play. It's fun
No, for
watching him
sure.
play.
Hey, John, I'm gonna take a quick break because if you have been watching the show, you have seen me
Go
drinking,
for it.
and nature is calling me. So I'm gonna walk away for a second. The bathroom is not that far away, and I'll
Definitely.
be right back. So it's all you. It's your show, baby.
Okay. But yeah, like I was saying, it's fun watching Duncan play. I can't wait to see how he's going to progress. He's putting on a Daryl DK type rookie season. Maybe not quite as big of a splash yet as DK did, because DK was just a monster to deal with. And then yeah, if Duncan and Mcguire and Duncan and Carr, if we can have that good 1-2 punch, whoever starts and then whoever comes in late in the game off the bench, if we need to steal a victory or steal a draw like we did this past Saturday, that's a very good problem to have, and a very good problem. Two somewhat identical strikers. Duncan's a little bit faster, a little bit quicker in the tighter spaces than Kara. Kara's better in the air than Mcguire. So that they're similar, but they're different at the same time. Both have excellent hold up play. It's a very good problem to have. Two
Hmm.
strikers, two guys that know how to score the ball, two guys that can play their position at a high level. And the good thing, especially with Duncan and even Carr is kind of young, kind of entering, the middle of what should be his prime years. But both of them are, still have some years ahead of them. A lot of years ahead of them, hopefully, that they can continue to improve. And especially Mcguire, if he learns how to dribble the ball a little bit better in tight spaces, watch out, because that would be an MVP candidate right there.
No, for sure. And there's a reason. There's a reason he was the NCAA Player of the Year
Absolutely.
for
Absolutely.
2022, my friends. So, John, let's
Absolutely.
uh, let's 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 address some issues here real quick. Think we can go ahead and wrap it up. I gotta get up at 4:30 in the morning, people.
Okay.
I got a flight to catch, and um, otherwise, and there's not much to talk about. I mean, we got lucky Saturday. Unfortunately for us, the ball did not go our way Tuesday. But that's football, people. That's football. You can't win them all. I was just telling John how excited I was that in this 2022-2023 season, I got to see Orlando City lift the Open Cup, Maccabi Haifa another championship. Um, Steven is having a magical FA run and promotion. So, my clubs have been good to me. That doesn't happen every year, friends. So, it football is peak and valleys, and sometimes on going underground. And I think we've been to the gates of hell several times. So right now, Orlando City finds itself 11th, and we are tied at 15 points with the teams from 6 to 12. And we're a point ahead of Chicago, who sits 13th, and at the bottom is New York Red Bulls and Toronto with 12. A lot of people have been defending, said, "Hey, we're tied. It's not that great." But the problem is, friends, is that the goal differential it's not helping us, and that's the reason why we are at the bottom. And also, yeah, some teams have played a game above us and all that. But our good friend Dan from the English line was online, said that our if our PPG continues to be this the same way, and for those that don't know what it is 1.36. If it continues this way, we're missing the playoffs basically. This Saturday at Miami, we're gonna be facing our in-state rivals. They won their last game. They are alive by the mercy of God. If you have seen the highlights in the Open Cup, there's nothing more than Jose Martinez will want top of the list on his prayer bullet points on his prayer list. He has defeating Orlando City as the top of the list. Um, so let's talk about that real quick. I forgot to create a banner for it, but it doesn't matter.
That's
They
all
don't
right.
even deserve one.
Yeah.
What? First of all, are you gonna go down to Miami for that?
I'm not. We're not going to be able to make it, unfortunately. Just circumstances aren't going to make it out. We were trying to, and then it just isn't working out for us. So we would love to be down there having a away day down in Miami,
Mm-hmm.
but it's just not going to work out this year, unfortunately. Are you going to go? Are you headed down there, David? Or
Man, no, there's no way. I'm gonna be
so,
gone the rest of
yeah,
the
but,
week. Probably gonna be flying home Friday. Uh, at this point, listen. At this point, I've been away from home for so long. There's so many things I have piled up. I'm probably gonna skip going to service this Saturday. On top of that, for that reason, and the other thing is that I have been told that if I show up to one of the games, they're gonna attack me physically. I just don't understand why people can respectfully disagree with others. But all I didn't do anything wrong. All I did is I laughed when we won the Open Cup,
yeah.
and I
And that's part of it too, David. Is Miami's Miami. There's great people that live down there,
oh yeah,
but
there's some good people,
but
some good people.
their supporters don't seem to be of those people. Unfortunately, at least the diehards don't be. Um, they want to try to take a third world mentality like the fans from Tigres did, and attach it to the MLS, the hooliganism, if you will.
And now that you mentioned that, my
Of
friend, the
soccer.
situation between Red Bull fans and New York City fans this past weekend, deplorable. I'm sorry. No, it doesn't have any room. And to the people that glorify that culture online here in the United States, shame on you. Um, I have said it before. And we have a lot to learn from our friends in other countries. Um, in Israel, people talk a lot of trash, but at the end of the game, people shake hands, wish they each other well. See you next game. We're gonna win it this time. Blah blah whatever, and that's done.
Yeah.
In the UK, people talk crap to each other, whatever. But when the game is over, for the most part, people just don't mess with people. They love their club. You love their club. You love your club, and at the end of the day, on Monday morning, we all have to go to work. And that's the reality. We all love. We have families that we love. We all love the game of football. But it's unfortunate, but yeah, maybe one day,
Yeah.
once they open the bullet train that goes from NCO down to Miami, then I'll probably do that.
Yeah.
Then I think they're gonna have a special for tickets for $200, and I'll take that. And funny story, and I know we're all over the place tonight. The other last week I had to go to Fort Lauderdale. And I was super excited, John, because I was like, "Oh man, I get to take the train, I get to sleep, I get to, play with my phone. I called the folks of Brightline, and they're like, oh yeah, by the way, we don't start selling tickets until the end of May. So I
Yeah,
was disappointed. Which, by the way, I know a lot of people have told me they were disappointed that the availability for the train was not available this time. But of course, it's gonna be when Miami comes to visit
of
us.
course.
So I expect a ton of people from Miami because they're gonna take advantage of the train, which it's a great thing that in our state we're finally having this type of transportation. I think for Florida football is gonna be fantastic. It's gonna be wonderful. The train is gonna eventually gonna make it all the way to Tampa, so that means that Rowdies fans can go down to see Miami. Miami can go see Rowdies. So I think it's gonna be fantastic, man, for the game of football here in our state.
Definitely.
So all right, John. So departing words, my friend, on
Um,
we have tonight.
we have to get in the next 3 games. We have to get at least 4 points. Period. I mean, we win tomorrow night. That'll leapfrog us, depending on what the other matches do. We
Hmm.
have a potential to leapfrog into fourth or fifth place. Again, depending on what the other matches do,
Yes.
which is huge. Huge. It'll take all. That'll kind of be a consolation prize for the suffering this first, third to half a season the suffering that we've went through. Got to win at home. What's today? Wednesday night, not tomorrow night. Wednesday night, and then Saturday. Miami's playing hot. Miami's playing loose. They have Orlando, the number one assassin against Orlando and Martinez. So go in there, put on a good showing. It's these are rivalry matches. The next 3 are. So I hope if the players don't show up, that'll kind of tell us where the team is.
For sure.
Period. So exciting time. I hate that the 3 rivalry matches are back to back to back. But
Hmm.
that's the schedule that's laid in front of us, and we have to do our best with it. So, hey, get out of there with get 6 points in the next 3. Amazing. 9, I'd be over the moon and saying the time's come. We were winning the MLS Cup, but
No, for sure.
love these matches. Love the matches against New York. Love the match against Atlanta, and then Fort Lauderdale's. They tried to be purple, but they missed by a couple tones.
There you go. There you go. And to our friends that are listening, or watching, thank you very much for everybody that was live with us tonight. Orlando City is gonna close the month of May. Like we said, Wednesday at home with New York City. Saturday we're gonna go down to South Florida to see Miami, and then we return on the 27th to face Atlanta. That officially makes it a full month for me without seeing a live game at Exploria. That's probably one of the that sucks, man. But in June we have a good calendar going. Have some friends from England joining me on the 10th against Colorado. Excited about that. So well, thank you, John, for joining me tonight. Thank you, everybody that participated. Again, the opportunity is always there. We would love to have as many people as possible. Jared, my friend, I'm disappointed that you didn't come on because I wanted to hear from you about the experience going to Columbus. But I follow your Instagram, so it was pretty good. I want to remind everybody that we are on the Capital Stand live Mondays at 9, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter. Please follow our social media on the Capital Stand on the Capital Stand. The YouTube channel is David's channel 76. Give us a thumbs up, subscribe, let your friends know that we're here. And I can be followed on Instagram at the_Florida_man76. John, where can they find you on social media?
You can find me on Twitter at thatboyjrdobb. I also run the Twitter for the show. And then Instagram, JRDUB15. Those are my socials. Try to post mainly about Orlando City on Twitter. Twitter's my sports hub. Instagram, I do a little more family stuff because you can't retweet and stuff there. But,
For sure.
Thank you, everybody, for listening. Like I said earlier, we greatly appreciate everybody.
No, absolutely, my friend.
Commitment to the show.
Absolutely. So next Monday we'll be here. Where I'm gonna be, I don't know. It's always a mystery. I'm like Carmen San Diego. Where in the world? So, but know this that wherever I am, whatever I do, I'm gonna be supporting Orlando City, the boys of the 407. They have my heart. Friends, if you're listening to us, we are on every application where you usually consume your podcast. So thank you very much to the people that were with us live, the people that will watch this later on YouTube, the people that are going to listen to us on audio. Thank you very much. And we'll leave you, as we always do, with the following message that the game of football is for those that don't mind getting their mouth smashed and their hearts broken. Thank you very much from myself and John. May God bless you. And as always, vamos Orlando.